Going into a locker to prevent slugging shouldn't be a viable strategy. Before I get into today's video, don't forget to go follow me on Twitch if you aren't already. It is written right here above me. I stream Sunday to Thursday at 8 p.m. Central Time. Another way to phrase what this person said is, I don't think the primary form of counterplay to slugging should exist. Listen, I get slugging when the survivors force you to do it with sabo builds or hovering for saves, that's fine. But slugging just because and complaining about survivors utilizing counterplay to it is kind of a self-report. For starters, there's a clear lore reason why slugging shouldn't exist. The job of the killer is to sacrifice survivors to the entity, which can only be done by placing them on sacrificial hooks. Bleeding survivors out does not count as a sacrifice, it counts as a kill. A kill results in the dead status for survivors. Sacrifice happens when they die on a hook. Dead happens when they are bled out or killed by a Mori. And for many things, a bleed out doesn't even count as a kill. If you bleed a survivor out when you're doing an adept, for instance, that won't count as a kill. But if the lore reason for not bleeding out survivors isn't good enough for you, then obviously there is a gameplay balance issue too. I've always felt that slugging is generally counterable, though difficult to counter, but it is counterintuitive to try to counter. The macro counterplay to slugging, generally speaking, is to split up, especially against highly mobile slugging killers or ones that can snowball very well, like Oni or Plague. Even killers that have high lethality in groups like Bubba or Huntress can slug very well if you group up, so generally speaking, just split up. It seems simple. All you have to do is stay away from other survivors and the killer won't be able to slug as well. Until you remember that survivors have to group up if they want to get people up off the ground. Due to a lack of base kit self-help for slugging in any way, due to this, survivors are required to group up and get each other up off of the ground once they are down. The micro counterplay to slugging is counterintuitive to the macro counterplay to slugging. And with the right set of perks or the right amount of coordination, this can be overcome. Not even necessarily in a full Swift, just well-coordinated players can pull this off. But the average team of solo queue players cannot do this. And that is the overwhelming majority of players in Dead by Daylight. So with all of this in mind, we can determine that slugging is already a very abusable strategy that killers can use in Dead by Daylight. It's not always abused, but it is very abusable. So calling for nerfs to the very minimal counterplay of a very abusable strategy is a self-report to me. It's asking for even more hand-holding while using a strategy that neither the gameplay balance nor the lore directly endorse.